Hello and welcome back to my channel Study with me. We had ended up section 1.2's 1.2.1 last day. So today let us go directly to the next section, that is 1.2.2, which reads, the heading says Agriculture in Prehistoric Era. Since agriculture fulfills the need of food to human and animal, it appears to be a very primitive step of human civilization. The earliest man, Homo erectus, emerged around 1.5 million years ago and spread throughout old world tropics and later to temperate zones. About 500,000 years ago, he probably learned to control and use fire. The earliest man was distinguished from fellow animals by his intelligence and skill in making tools and selection for self-use. Next para. Homo sapiens, the direct ancestor of modern man, lived 250,000 years ago. Homo sapiens, the modern man, appeared in Africa 35,000 years ago. He was distinguished from all other extinct species of genus Homo by large brain, small teeth and chin, and capacity for making and using tools. He hunted a variety of animals and cooked their meat on fire. The weapons for hunting were boulders and spears of wood tipped with blades of flint. He also used stone-tipped arrows. Later, he domesticated the dog, which greatly helped him in hunting. Apart from the meat, he gathered a variety of seeds, leaves, fruits, roots, and other parts of plants from the forest for food. He had no control over food supply and was unable to clothe and shelter adequately. During the period 8700 BC to 7700 BC, he domesticated animals and turned a herdsman. He first domesticated sheep and later goat. Between the period 7500 BC to 6500 BC, man gradually shifted from hunting towards agriculture. Stone axes were used for cutting trees and fire for burning forests. Agriculture has no single and simple origin. It was started in different parts of the world during different periods. The evolution of agriculture took place gradually with the changes in human civilization, mostly based on the experiences. The exact evidences are not known about shifting of man into agriculture from hunting and gathering of animal for food. The hunting and gathering food was a difficult job to collect the food for each individual, while pastoral life and agriculture could support to a group. Thus, residing in group or camps and dependency of food on plants had started in human civilization. It is expected that prehistoric agriculture might have developed in several steps as under: A. Conservation of desirable native plants. By using various parts of plants like roots, seeds, leaves, flowers, fruits, etc., probably man have identified the desirable plants which he referred as crop plants, and later he might have tried to conserve those plants from danger. B. Collection and preservation of seeds. After eating the fruits, man would have thrown the seeds elsewhere, and they have seen the germination of same type of plants from thrown seeds. With this experience, they might have learned and decided to grow this plant by using the collected and preserved seeds at desirable place. In this way, they would have started the collection and preservation of seeds of useful plants. C. Sowing of seeds. With the increase in population, when man would have faced shortage of foods, they might have started sowing on the basis of climatic suitability. D. Tilling of land. When birds or air or flow of water damaged seeds, they might have thought to lose the hard soil surface with the help of stone or wooden tools, putting the seeds inside the soil to avoid the damages. E. Shifting cultivation. After continuous growth of some plants for a long time, they might have observed poor growth in plant and finally the yield. Thus, they might have left the land by using another land for growing the plants. Initially, there were enough land for raising the crops or plants, and when they found reduction in the yield on the same land, then they might have shifted their farming in other newly acquired land by leaving the old land and living places. This system of farming is referred as shifting cultivation and is followed in some tribal belts of Africa and Asia. F. Weed control. Farmers in ancient age might have seen growing several unwanted plants with the desirable plants competing with them for growth resources. With this experience, they might have started control of these unwanted plants (weeds) from the fields by uprooting or cutting, etc. Women mostly performed this work from the very beginning. G. Fallowing of land. With a gradual increase in the population, people have probably started living in groups together and established villages with some economic management, and then practice of shifting cultivation would have been avoided. On experiencing the reduction in yield due to continuous raising of a crop plants on the same soil, they might have started fallowing of some portion of land and tilling of old fallow land with unwanted green plants. Then they might have experienced good yield from the fallow land. H. Use of domestic wastes as plant nourishment. By the use of domestic wastes in agriculture as plant nourishment, people must have experienced the good growth of crop plants. Then they might have started to preserve these wastes and use them in the cropped land as manure. Meanwhile, they might have domesticated several animals like sheep, goat, cow, and buffalo, etc. for the support, and then they must have seen tremendous effect of drug, urine, and animal wastes in improving the soil fertility. Thus, they had started use of ashes, domestic wastes, animal dung, and urine and animal wastes in the process of agricultural production. I. Following crop rotation. In due time, the cultivators must have realized that growing cereals after legume crop give better yield, which resulted in crop rotation practice. Later, they must have known that legume plants fix atmospheric nitrogen through their root nodules. J. Green manuring. Later, with this experience, legumes must have been grown and then turning them into the soil with the help of available equipments to improve the soil fertility. The important events in the history of agriculture after 7500 BC can be listed as below. Period. 7500 BC. Event: conservation of crops, that is wheat and barley. 6000 BC. Domestication of cattle and pigs. 4000 BC. Cultivation of maize. 3500 BC. Cultivation of potato. 3400 BC. Wheel was invented. 3000 BC. Bronze was used to make tools. 2900 BC. Plough was invented and irrigation started. 2700 BC. Silk moth domesticated. 2300 BC. Cultivation of chickpea, pea, mustard and cotton. Domestication of fowl, buffalo and elephant. 2200 BC. Cultivation of rice in India. 1200 BC. Cultivation of finger millet, that is ragi. 1725 BC. Cultivation of sorghum. 1700 BC, taming of horses. 1500 BC, cultivation of sugarcane and irrigation from wells. 1400 BC, use of iron. 1500 AD, cultivation of sweet orange, sour orange, wild brinjal, pomegranate. 1600 AD, introduction of several crops in India from Portugal like sweet potato, arrowroot, cassava, tomato, chilies, pumpkin, papaya, pineapple, guava, custard apple, groundnut, cashew nut, tobacco, American cotton, rubber.